Welcome back to the Scoop College Basketball Podcast. We are back for another conference preview, and that preview is the Horizon, which is a league that, looking like, doing my research for the conference preview, there's some stuff here, and it is going to be a somewhat fun conference this year. So, Kyle, what are your first thoughts on the Horizon?
It's always a fun league, but I think this year maybe it's the funnest. I don't know. It's a chance. We'll see. The top four teams are all really good. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, ranked 21st as a league in KenPom this year. It's predicted at 24th this upcoming season. I definitely think there's a chance it could be better than that, though. It feels better than that. I don't know if it actually is, but it feels like a league that's actually pretty decent.
And the bottom has gotten better. Like
Mhm.
IUPUI will be better.
Yeah, that's the thing with like KenPom, especially.
Green Bay will be better.
They have Green Bay like third to last. That it's not gonna actually be the case in their season, but that's just slightly
hmm
KenPom preseason stuff, which that's probably a reason why they're so low. They moved down a little bit in conference, even though I think they got better this offseason. But the
hmm
all conference members from last year, Antoine Davis exhausts his eligibility. Tristan Enaruna is back at Cleveland State. Jalen Moore exhausts his eligibility. Trey Calvin back at Wright State. And Dwayne Cohill exhausts his eligibility. On the second team, BJ Freeman is back at Milwaukee. Marques Warrick is back at Northern Kentucky. Trey Townsend back at Oakland, and Jared Godfrey and Khalil Spear both exhausted their eligibility. On the third team from last year, Jalen Counter is back at IUPUI. Sam Vinson also back at Northern Kentucky. Enoch Cheeks transferred to Dayton. Adrian Nelson from Youngstown State exhausted eligibility. And Brandon Rush is back at Youngstown State. So a solid amount of returning talent, honestly. So and some transfers in, which are so we will talk about that in a minute. But yeah, one coaching change this offseason. Sundance Wicks takes over the Green Bay job after Will Ryan, who was just a terrible coach there. I think we like to hire. He's
Yeah, of course.
coming from the Wyoming, coming from being a Wyoming assistant.
Love that
I'm
tree.
yes,
Yeah.
Linder is a fantastic coach, so definitely like to see that. But yeah, all conference awards. Who was your player of the year?
My player of the year was BJ Freeman.
That is
Milwaukee.
exactly who I had as well. He's really good. He can
There we
really
go.
score. He's gonna put up points. He's really like he's a high major player.
He is,
He
dude.
is athletic for the conference. Like he's a big guard that can really put up
Um,
points.
and his placement as player of the year has a lot to do with where I have Milwaukee. I am very high on them.
Okay.
This is a really underrated roster. If you look at it at surface value, because they got a lot of their talent from the NIA, D2, and JUCO
Mm,
circuit. Plus, they got this guy from A&M who I like. And then they got some
right.
other returners as well. So it's a great
Yes.
mixed bag, and I love their coach. They really overperformed last year. So I'm really excited for them.
The star players in this league though, are good.
They
Like
are.
the top tier players are like pretty good. It's going to be a fun player of year race. Another player I had in my first team, Trey Calvin, Wright State, averaged like 20 points a game last year.
Same last year.
And I also, while we're at it, I also had Tanner Holden from Wright State, who averaged like 20 points a game the year before in the conference.
All right.
So I had both those guys in my first team. Where did you have them?
So I had Holden on my second team. I Trey
Okay.
Calvin on my first team.
Okay.
I have
Another guy.
Marques Warrick
Yeah.
from Northern Kentucky.
Yeah. So I
And
was
then
going to
I have
say,
Tristan Enaruna from Cleveland State.
yes. So do you have one more guy in your first team then?
Noah Reynolds. Yeah, I
Okay.
have Noah
Okay.
Reynolds.
I had Reynolds. He was the first guy on my second team. He is gonna really be scoring the ball at Green Bay. I mean, he was formerly committed to Wisconsin. Like when Green Bay can get a guy that was gonna go high major, that's pretty
And be a
significant.
good player on a high major. He was going to be one of their better
Yeah,
players. All right.
I think
Like,
he
he's
would have
not
been
just
a
a scrub, you
solid
know.
contributor off the bench.
hmm For
Another guy on
sure.
my second team I have is Jaden Stone for Detroit. Was academically ineligible like the second half of last season, but when he was playing, he was really
He was
good.
really good. Yeah.
Really efficient. No Antoine Davis there, so we could definitely see
He's
his
going to
numbers
fill up the stat sheet.
increase.
Oh,
Yeah, he is
I
very
have
good.
him
Just
too.
needs to go to class, maybe get those grades up, so we don't have another academically ineligible second semester for him.
not gonna say I encourage it, but maybe when he sees how bad the team is around him, right? We'll get into that. We so from the second team, I have Tone Hunter from Oakland. I'm
Okay.
very high on him.
I'm
Great
not a huge
defender.
fan of him.
Um, at Long Beach, everyone gets a very, everyone takes whatever shots they want. I think at Oakland, they're going to lose Jalen Moore. They're going to need guard production. They have a lot of D2 NIA guys that aren't amazing to me. Like they're good, but like compared to the other teams in the conference, I don't think their JUCOs and stuff aren't as good as the other teams. So I feel like Tone Hunter is a guy who can really take a step up. I think he's going to be taking a lot of shots for sure. So just got to hit at a higher clip.
You
Um,
know, yeah. I mean, I could see a world where he's good, but he was inefficient and turned the ball over a ton last year. So, there's definitely some optimism there. But I sort of liked him at points.
yeah, he
So
was kind of lower on the pecking order, and then guys got hurt, so then he had to move up on the pecking order. So, with Jaden Jones going down last year, definitely
yeah,
Joel Murray, yeah,
yeah. But I had his teammate Trey Townsend in the second
yeah,
team,
same
averaged
here.
like 16 points per game last year. Should be another solid contributor as well this year. Probably will. Well, I don't know. But Jalen Moore was such a good passer that he's not necessarily gonna be taking a ton more shots, but he already was
Yeah,
so good last year. So,
yeah,
um,
exactly. So
Brandon Rush is another guy I had. Youngstown State. They lose a lot, but he's their one like constant that they still have. So I had him my second team.
I have Tanner Holden and then Brandon Noel of Wright State, who I
Okay.
actually love. He's really efficient. He's gonna be a really good big next to Holden and Calvin in the starting lineup. And he's just really good, like, picking and rolling. He's really good around the rim. He's very versatile. Like I love him.
Yeah, I think he's really good. I just didn't want to have three Wright State players in my first two teams, so I slid him to my third team. But he
I
was
originally had
strongly he was strongly under consideration. My last member of my second team is DJ Burns for Youngstown State, Murray State transfer, really good defender. Can maybe take on more of a scoring load around the rim. Really athletic, and I think should make a big impact. I mean, he played significant minutes on that Murray State team that was really good. So I think he could
Yeah, I
Youngstown
think
State has been really good with transfers. So
yeah, I actually do like Youngstown's transfer class this year. I think it's a little under the radar, and he's part of that. Like he's one of the
yeah.
biggest reasons, that I do like their class. I think he's going to take a jump in production this year. I have him on my third team, but yeah, no, I see him and Rush having very good seasons.
Okay. Who'd you have in your second team left then anyone?
I Noel, Stone, Holden, Townsend, and Hunter. So
Okay.
that's my second team.
So my third team, I have Jalen Counter for IUPUI. Was there last year. Should IUPUI should be a little better. Not super efficient player, but maybe that helps more this year with he has a little bit more weapons around him. So maybe that'll get a little bit better. Another guy I had was Rashid Bello for Purdue Fort Wayne. I think he's your best player coming from D2, was super efficient there. Put up put up some points, solid passer as well. I mean, I think he's your best player on a team that I don't especially like, but I think he's decently young, I believe. So
They have a couple intriguing pieces. He's one of them. I
mhm.
have Tay Williams of
Okay.
Cleveland State. Really efficient last year. I think he's going to take a bit of a scoring jump because around Inaruma they don't have a ton. So I
Yeah.
feel like he can definitely increase his scoring. He's been there a while. So then I have Brandon Rush. I have Jalen
Okay.
Counter. I have DJ Burns.
Okay.
And my last guy I have is an in-conference transfer from Green Bay, Cade Meyer at Northern
Mm.
Kentucky. He was pretty good at Green Bay on a really bad team. He was pretty efficient. And I know Northern Kentucky's track records with bigs, and it's so good. He's probably going to get a lot of minutes next to Robinson. Yeah, I've really liked him, and I think he's going to be a really valuable piece at Northern Kentucky. Again, a team that plays great defense. A bit of an adventure offensively sometimes, but they're a really well coached squad, and I think he can take a jump here actually. So
Yeah, I had another guy from Northern Kentucky. Instead, I had Sam Vincent on my third team. Pretty
I originally
skilled
had him second
player.
team, but I knocked him down for other guys, and it was
Yeah,
tough. Mm.
yeah. And the last guy on my third team, I had Noel as well. But to kind of taking a shot, I'm going with Justice Williams for Robert Morris. I mean, maybe he's just not that good, but like he was like a borderline 5-star
You
like a few
know how
years ago.
biased I am
He
towards Justice
was
Williams
he
too.
was like looked as really good at one point. Like it's a little concerning that no high major schools really even wanted him, but like there's
I
potential
originally had
there.
him second team, but I just had to knock him down for other guys that I really like.
Yeah.
You know, um, the thing with Justice Williams, he's had wrist problems. He's never really
Yeah.
been fully healthy. Maybe at Robert Mar, and the thing about Robert Morris, and the reason I do like that pick is they don't really have anything else. They don't have a lot. So he's going to be taking shots now. He's honestly, and someone I played against in high school, so he's more of a distributor. He doesn't look to score a ton. But I think that can change this year. Like he's gonna have to. Like if they want to be respectable, he's gonna have to look for a shot. He's good in the mid range. Not an amazing 3-point shooter. He's pretty good at getting to the rim. He's a very good point guard. And I think he'll definitely be bringing up the ball for them. So
Yeah. So top 10 transfers, number one, I had Holden. I'm
I
assuming you
know a
have
Reynolds
Reynolds, and then I had Reynolds at two. So
holding it too.
number three, I had DJ Burns.
I Tone Hunter at 3,
Okay,
Burns at
number
4.
four, I had Rich Byer for Green Bay, D2 All American. Should
Oh yeah, no, I
be a
haven't really
three-level
seen him.
scorer.
Okay.
Should be a solid player there.
So I
Um,
have Bo Myers of Wright State. Someone I really looked into. He seems like he's gonna contribute a good bit. So
yeah.
um,
Let's see. You had him at five. I had Bello at five. Rashid Bello.
I had Eric Pratt from Milwaukee at 6.
Okay. I had Justice Williams at six.
I had Williams at 7.
Okay. Ziggy Reed for Youngstown State at seven. I think come from Merrimack, good defensive program. He can, yeah, and
I had him at
obviously
8. Yeah. Mhm.
Youngstown State's track record with transfers. Number eight, I had PJ Fuller, who is someone that I don't love, but like has got minutes ever at like high major programs for 4 years. So maybe he can like be a little more efficient playing against a little lower competition.
I'm gonna put Rasheed Bello at 9. I rounded
Okay.
this list off of Youngstown guys, which I don't want to do. So I'm gonna take Brett Thompson off. Although I kind of like him.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna leave Jalen Bates on and put him at 10. I actually think he's pretty good. He can rebound. He's pretty efficient inside, even though he's not coming from a great conference. Those things are pretty valuable no matter where you go. So
Okay. Number nine, I had Faison Fields for Milwaukee. He was extremely efficient, Old Dominion, really good analytical player, and I think could really make an impact once he's in the starting
he
lineup
was a really
now.
good pickup. Yeah.
Number 10, I had Michael Bradley. Really good point guard coming from D2 level for Northern Kentucky. Should be a solid starter with some good options around to get the ball to. So now moving to breakout players. Not like a ton of breakout players, but there are some candidates. There's a lot of returning talent, but
I have like
one.
8.
Okay, I have five. One guy picked from Northern Kentucky is Hubertas Pavorius. Uh, could expand his shooting range. He can shoot the ball. Should get more minutes off the bench this year. Northern Kentucky doesn't have a super deep bench outside of in terms of proven talent, so
They
I
don't
went
usually
with
run
him.
deep benches though. That's
Uh,
always the thing.
he'll be
So
like the sixth or seventh man, so he'll
yeah.
he'll play.
I have Stephon Walker of
Okay, that was my
RMU.
next guy.
I think again, RMU is going to be really looking for guys. Let's see what my RMU roster is. I just have them all pulled up, but he is someone I do really like for a jump.
Yes. Good rebounder, efficient player inside.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy I had was Elijah Jameson from Milwaukee. He had a pretty solid freshman year last year, was a good recruit, and I think him and Freeman are gonna work well together there. In their second year playing together.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Next, I have Elijah Jones of Green Bay. I think he's in for a better
Okay.
year. Um, Green Bay has some scoring punch, but I think as far as depth goes, they could use help. So
Yeah, my next guy, I went with Rocket Watts. I mean, Oakland needs some stuff in the backcourt.
Oh,
I mean,
Austin.
he's better than Tone Hunter. He's more efficient than Tone Hunter.
Do you know how bad Rocket Watts was last year?
Tone
Like,
Hunter was worse.
I don't know. I
Tone
don't know.
Hunter was bad.
I don't know.
Rocket Watts has a potential though. Like if he's gonna break out, I mean, might as well do it now. They lost
He had
some.
some games where they had to move him to the bench. He was so bad last year.
I know.
I mean, he was like he put up like 2 points, 0 points some games I'm looking at on like 0 of 6,
They're
7
they're gonna
shooting.
need something in the backcourt, and I'm not sure Hunter's gonna be much better.
Uh, I think Hunter's got room to grow. He was put in a role he wasn't, necessarily comfortable with yet last year. Again, guys like Joel Murray getting hurt. Like, I think he can definitely like grow. I don't think he's a finished product yet, and I certainly
Yeah.
don't trust Rocket Watts. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really trust him either. I was kind of debating whether to
But I
go with
get it.
that,
I
but
get it. We do the kind of thing with shitty Power Fives and bad conferences. We've both done that in other previews. So like, no, I get what you're doing. It's just Rocket Watts. Like, yeah,
I don't trust him either. But like, there's a potential that he's fine. There's always been a potential that he's going to be finally good.
there
Maybe
is.
he is.
I thought he would be good at Mississippi State. I actually
He
did,
was
but
like he was like really good at the end of his freshman year, and like everyone
mm,
was like, oh, he's going to be really good in a few years. And in a few years, he's like out of the rotation at Oakland. But he
right.
could be I don't know. Last guy was EJ Farmer for Youngstown State, though. Coming
Yeah,
from Toledo,
huge on him.
Toledo is a very good offensive powerhouse, and Youngstown State works well with transfers, kind of like all the intangibles there. So,
I just love Toledo transfers. They're always so efficient. The eye candy of
mm-hmm.
efficiency. Like he shot like 42% from three, like 50% from the field. I'm like, I love that. Like, John Lovelace Jr., another guy from Youngstown State,
Okay.
6'8" guard. Gives them some size, gives them some defense, which I think they need to get better at, which I
Yeah.
think they did get better at. They did
Mm-hmm.
recruit some defense down low, which um definitely makes them a bit more appealing to me. I just think the teams around them are very good too. So I have Justice Williams, I have DJ
Yeah.
Jackson of IUPUI. I think he's a big, I believe. Let me see. I think their roster's here. Which is, I actually
Looks like
don't
he's a
think it's that
guard.
bad. Yeah, okay, he is a guard.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, he's from Montverde. Okay. But he had 10 points a game last year, 10-4, and a
Yeah.
seven
He
weeks
was
due to
solid.
injury. Full season from him, I think he could move up to, another 12 to 14 points per game scorer. Along with Vincent Brady and the other guy.
Got it.
So
Yep.
yeah. Then I have Anthony Roberts of Purdue Fort Wayne.
Okay.
Again, a roster I don't think a ton of, but they're gonna need production and guys to step up around Bello. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's gonna be one of them.
Anyone else?
Nah, it's
Okay, so moving to our all freshman team, not a ton of good freshmen in this conference, mostly dominated by older people. Yeah, but Leoric Davis, the guy I had as a redshirt freshman, is a transfer from Tennessee State. He is super athletic.
mm-hmm.
He is like insanely athletic. So I'm including redshirt freshman, so I went with him there. He was a
I have
solid
David
recruit.
Douglas Jr. from Green Bay. Someone who's from the prep circuit in Illinois. 6'5" guard. He had really good numbers there, but I just think Green Bay does need some help at guard outside of Reynolds. They do have like, a combo guard from D2 you were talking about, but as far as depth goes, like they definitely could he'll definitely see minutes off the bench. So
Yeah,
um
another guy I had was Dre Carter for Wright State, another redshirt freshman. I think he could play some really solid minutes off the bench this year and kind of contribute for Wright State there after being in the program for a year.
I have Ryan Hurst of Detroit Mercy. I
Okay.
think they just really need help at guard. He's a pretty solid recruit. And I think he'll contribute pretty much right away. So
Mm-hmm. I have Alfredo Boglio for Robert Morris. He was played a little bit internationally for Italy this summer or last summer, sometime. I think he's a guy that, with the international experience, could be a little bit more ready right away to play a solid role like as a backup point guard.
All right. Let me get my. There we go. All right. So next, I have Jermaine Coleman, Purdue Fort Wayne.
Okay.
Someone who I think will play a good bit because I think their front court is just not a lot of good guys there. So I think he'll definitely play a lot.
Yeah. For Purdue Fort Wayne, I went with Corey Hadnot.
I think
Again, like,
too. Yeah.
okay. So that's all your freshmen then, I
I have
think.
Jeremiah Israel of Northern Kentucky as well.
Okay. I did have a guy from Northern Kentucky at redshirt freshman is Caesar Chilombo or whatever. Really should be a really dominant inside big man. And Northern Kentucky could definitely use some more production down there. So I think he could play a solid role. Been in the program for a year as a redshirt freshman. So yeah, those are all of our individual awards and such. So moving forward to our individual team previews, first team is Green Bay. They were bad last year, but I think there's some like real potential they could be good. Um,
Yeah.
I mean not like good. Okay, where'd you have them?
I originally had them third to last, but now that you mentioned they have that D2 guy
I mean
who
I
is
have them
very
eighth.
good. Um, I have them. We'll put them. I have them seven. Yeah, I have them
Okay.
seven.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna be much better than last year. They were atrocious last year, but I think they'll be like sort of competitive this year. No, could really score the ball at Wyoming. Obviously Bayer is a very skilled scorer. Offensively, they got a guy from John A. Logan, Elijah Jones, that could
Yeah.
very good junior college program, the best in the country, arguably. So it's a somewhere good to be coming from. Clarence Cummings, he's okay. He was double digit scorer last year. You can take that. I also got a guy from Missouri Western, Will Eames, should be another solid Division II player in the rotation. Foster Wonders from Southern Illinois should play some decent minutes. Yeah, I mean it's not a super deep team. It's not a super good team either, but like it's there's definitely much improved.
Much improved for sure. The fact that they can bring back Clarence Cummings and he can be like the fourth or fifth guy now, or third or
Hmm.
fourth guy
Yeah.
is a good thing. So
Yeah. Preston Rudinger for Valpo. I think he was limited this year a little bit due to
yeah, he
injuries,
was.
but yeah,
He'll
I
be
mean
decent, I guess.
he's
Yeah.
got it, yeah. Yeah, it was they it's a good thing that their best few players are transfers, a good thing that they essentially got rid of most people last year. Bringing a big freshman class. I mean, I don't really know much about these guys. I guess we'll see if any of them can contribute right away. But the future is definitely brighter at Green Bay. They'll win a lot more than 3 games this year. They'll be a lot better than 361st in Ken Palm, even though that's close to what they're predicted right now. They will end up being a lot better than that.
Buy low, buy low.
Next team, IUPUI. I have them last, but there's potential.
I have them second to last.
Okay. Like I don't like yes, they were bad last year, but like they're gonna be better. Like
Yeah,
the
I mean,
roster is like kind of like
I don't
they can
hate
work with
it.
it. Like
Vincent Brady, Counter,
hmm
Jackson.
like
Um,
Bryce Monroe, he was a freshman a year and with Sam Houston a few years ago.
yeah.
Only played 4 games last year, but averaged double digits during that time. I mean, Counter is a solid player. Like Abdus Sam should be a solid big man transfer coming over from Rhode Island. Vincent
Mhm.
Brady averaging double digits. Kittrell Blocker coming from Buffalo is a guy that could definitely expand his game. Could definitely be like a double digit scorer in this league. So
They have a
like
couple bigs too. Yes, Kamba from
yeah,
Kennesaw didn't really play, but
yeah. Like Johnny Buda at forward, Quincy Samuels. Those are guys that could see a little bit more minutes. Their bench is like sort of deep. They have Armand Gerard, Ahmad Gerard, Dale and Hamilton. Like those are all guys that could play. And like
for
I
sure
think
they're
like
not.
I don't dislike their coaching either. Like I think this is Things are definitely looking up for
That's why I like
IUPUI.
them more than Detroit. I do like
Yeah.
their coaching staff more than Detroit's for sure. Detroit's.
Mm, yeah.
We'll get into that.
We will get into that. But yeah, kind of like what I have going here. Good backcourt, got some potential pieces, and yeah, I think there'll still be lots, but like I think this is a team that like will show lots of signs of improvement. Will
And they'll
not
be
be like
competitive in a good
yeah,
amount of
and I don't
games.
think they'll be like 360th when they're last. I think they'll be like 300
340.
maybe like 300. Like I don't think they'll be
Okay.
like that bad. Like I don't really think they're like terrible.
Yeah, sure. We'll get into the real bad D1 soon. So
Yeah,
sure.
we have
They're
South
coming
Interior
up.
coming up next, which isn't even worse. But Purdue
Right.
Fort Wayne next team, I have them right where they were last year at ninth.
I had
Um,
them eighth, right behind Green Bay. Yeah,
yeah, I mean they Jared Godfrey was really good.
he
He was
was
a big loss. Damian Chunkwee was pretty solid too. They did lose a lot, but I think Bell is going to be really good.
for sure.
Jalen Jackson coming over from UIC should be solid as a sophomore
Yeah,
there. Like
he's pretty nice.
Deontay Billups should be decent. And then you have some solid pieces off the bench. Quentin Morton Robinson, Anthony Roberts, Destin Whitaker should be an expanded role after transferring from Fresno State.
I don't hate their coach either. I
No,
mean, so
I Kaufman, I like him. I
he's
mean they were
pretty
really
good.
good a few years ago.
Yeah, they always seem to come near the top of the conference. So,
Yeah, and I think Bell is going to be really good though. Like I think
hmm
he is going to be an all conference player. I mean, he's their best player. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think they won't be great, but they'll be good enough to not be like terrible.
hmm
Yeah, you see any more thoughts about them? Eric Mulder could take an improve role off the bench. They have some freshmen coming in that could play. So yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes down. Next team, Detroit Mercy. I have them 10th.
I have them last. Yeah,
I mean, this isn't like an untalented team. It's just like they don't have Antoine Davis was just so good, and they
they lose
just don't
Noah
have that anymore.
Waterman. They lose. Oh, they
No,
lost
he
them.
was gone. Not sure,
Oh,
but
okay.
Gerald Liddell was pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah, like AJ Oliver, I guess. Stone was really good though. I think he's going to be continue to be very good. PJ Fuller, again, like has he ever really been good? Like not really, but he's got minutes every year, like at Washington and TCU. So I mean, I guess he'll probably be an above average player in his conference and pass solidly.
DJ
Jaden
Fuller's not
Coleman,
even on their website.
is he not in your team? Let me look. I thought he was
No,
uh
you know what happens at Detroit. Blink
yeah,
your eye and they're not on the roster. I don't think he's here.
hmm. I'll have to do some research there real quick, but they were also supposed to have Jalen Tavar, but he committed to some NAI program.
They have Tachiku as well, who needs a waiver, right?
Shiku, yeah. Yeah, he needs a waiver. He could be decent, but he also does need a waiver. Emmanuel Quach from New Mexico is a guy that's always been injured, but should be a good defender in this conference if he's healthy. I'm trying to look at what's up with PJ Fuller. Do you want to talk about Detroit while I try to do some research here?
Yeah, so they got Abdullah Ajawan from UMKC. Donovan Totley from Bethune-Cookman's all right. Gave you like 7 points a game there or something like that.
He played at Monmouth
Um,
too, I think.
yeah, he was at Monmouth, which I do not remember. It was like 2, 3 years ago, but I think it was actually during the COVID year, so pretty forgettable. They have Ryan Hurst, who I do like, and I think will play 6'3", 230, really strong kid. Probably will help them defensively too. They have Tyree Davis, who I thought was the coach's son, but he is not, I don't think. So they have Jaden Stone, obviously. Again, we have to see if he plays for a full year. Well, let's hope so. Yeah, he's very good though. They have
Apparently, Jaden Coleman isn't even there either. So they're just a complete disaster.
I'm about to say the roster I was looking at, like they were bad. Oh man.
Let me
Um,
see. My roster that I have in papers is completely off of what's actually on their
just go
roster.
on their website. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at now. Let's see.
they have
Who
Otan Jankovic from
Tulane?
Tulane.
He didn't play there.
Yeah, he didn't play.
So they
Preston
still have
Monverde. Yeah, he seems talented though. He will definitely play.
do you not have
Um,
Sonny Johnson on their roster? Where did he go?
Eduardo Delcadia is interesting. He's at Nichols, UNLV.
I
Didn't
thought
really
they had.
play much
Is
at
Sonny Johnson
Nichols.
on the team anymore?
I don't see him.
Do you remember him?
No.
He was a Penn State commit like a long time. He committed there early and he decommitted.
Oh,
Surprised you don't remember him being a Penn State.
yeah. I haven't been a Penn State fan that long, admittedly. Probably since like 2018. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he committed somewhere in that range, maybe like 2020. But
Yeah.
like he committed really early in the process when he got
Okay.
hurt or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know who's on this team because who like half the guys that I have on my projected roster are not even on this roster. So like I don't know.
Are
Jaden
we,
Stone's gonna be good though. He's
are
on
we
the
really,
roster,
are we
right?
really surprised?
No, Detroit's like one of those schools that like it just like people just never actually show up there.
Yeah,
Um,
there's been some rumors of things they do after games, things they do before games. We don't need to disclose those things.
I do remember hearing
They're not
those
good
things.
activities. Um,
Ooh.
and I'm pretty sure they're true.
Wouldn't surprise me based on everything else. But next team, Robert Morris. We don't need to talk about Detroit anymore. Robert
No.
Morris, I had him seventh though, where they were
I
last
have them a little lower. I was not really moved by this roster. I have them ninth.
year. Okay. Um, yeah, Justice Williams, a lot of that is banking on him being like a really solid player in the conference.
Man, who would have thought that you would be higher than me on Justice Williams in
I mean,
this
I'm not
top?
like super high on him, but there's a lot of intrigue at least.
There
Um,
is. I just it's these foreign guys and they don't look very good. I to me, like the one guy you mentioned, the Italian guy, maybe he is upside, but he didn't really put up great numbers. I looked into a lot of these guys and just nothing really jumped off the page. I like Stephon Walker, who's not, he's from Calvin
yeah.
Coolidge from DC. I think he's good.
Marquise Hastings is a good rebounder as well.
Chris Ford Jr., he didn't play much. No, yeah, I remember him now. Josh Corbin's okay.
Yeah. Hastings is a really good rebounder at least. Like
Yes, I originally had Hastings on my all conference team,
I'm not
but
sure how
I
good he
knocked him
really is, but
off.
he's a good rebounder at least.
Hmm.
Chris Ford, former not Davidson transfer.
This
Um,
team just doesn't have any depth either. Like I can name 4 to 5 guys that I
uh,
maybe like, and then after that, it's like, ooh, I don't know.
yeah.
Wow.
Um, yeah, they do have a lot of international incoming guys.
Kristowiak is intriguing. Ben Kristowiak is. I don't really know a lot about him, but he missed last year due to injury. Took a medical red shirt. He did prep at IMG, averaged 14-4.
Okay.
It helped them to a 23-5 record. Made the national championship tournament, so maybe he
Yeah,
gets minutes.
definitely
Probably at
some
the bench.
upside there. But
Um,
next team is Wright State. I have them first. Mm,
I have Wright State second. Yeah.
okay. I mean, I think this is at least the most talented team in the conference. The
Yeah,
starting
I
lineup
think
of
so.
like Calvin, Holden, either they have a few different options they could go with. They could go with Bo Myers. They could go with Alex Huber. They could go with Andrew
Yeah.
Wellage. Brandon Noel and AJ Brown are both going to be in a starting lineup as well. Like this team is very talented. I think I would say they're pretty good coached. Yeah.
The thing
So
with Wright
yeah.
State, and this has been a weakness of theirs for years, I would honestly say, is defense. Like it helps having Holden back, it does. But the interior defense is really what I'm speaking of. Like rim protection has been a problem there. Noel is good, but he's not really like a rim protector. Like they got killed on defense last year. Um, and that was a reason they weren't amazing. I mean, they didn't finish all that high last year. right?
No, they didn't. I mean, they were sixth in the conference.
Yeah, right. I mean, and defense was a big reason for that. And I don't really see where they, besides bringing back Tanner Holden, which does help the perimeter
They
defense.
were okay defense. They were like they were. I mean, they were okay. Noel and Braun are capable rim protectors.
Yeah. But this is a physical conference. Like Northern Kentucky, Youngstown, Milwaukee, they're physical teams. They're gonna make you rim protect. And that's my big concern with this team. They have everything else. They have everything else. They're the most talented team in the conference, no doubt. Um, yeah, it's just maybe the coaching isn't all the way there compared to Northern Kentucky, compared to
I like Nagy.
I
He's
do
pretty
like
good.
him though. He's a good offensive coach for sure. But Nagy's good. That's my big worry with this team.
Yeah, that's fair. They're extremely talented though. They have
Yeah.
Calvin, Holden, Noel. Like
It
that's
is
a
cool that Holden
really.
came back to Wright State. That is
Mm-hmm.
really cool.
I wonder how this gonna like all go down. Like I wonder like how good he's gonna be. Like I wonder how good Calvin's gonna be as a result of
yeah,
that. Like
sometimes I've seen in this round two coming back to an old school, guys aren't the same. It's weird. Like Holden's been good in this conference before, though. You think of Ali this year's doing it. Um, you think these guys would be pretty good coming back to a conference where they've had great success in, but I've seen weirder things, so we'll see. I think he'll be great, but
yeah,
yeah, there's been just weird things when guys go back to their old schools, and now I don't know, just seems
yeah. Next
weird.
team though, Oakland. I have them sixth.
That's around where I have them. I have them at 5. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think it's just a pretty solid team. I mean, you don't really know where you're getting out of the backcourt with Tone Hunter and Rocket Watch, but there is potential there. Both players definitely have potential
For
to be
sure.
very impactful players. They got a guy from Hillsdale, D2 transfer, Jack Golke. Trey Townsend should be really good. And I do like the JUCO big man they picked up in Brew Nevalura. I might have
Yes, he's
mispronounced that
great.
name, but
I almost put him on
he's
my all conference teams. Like he is really
mhm.
good. Um, yeah, from Garden City. Yeah. Hmm.
Yes. Maybe not a actual big man, but like I think
Yeah,
he's
he's
gonna end up.
6'6". That's what threw me off. I'm like, where do I
He's
put this guy? As a guard or forward?
he's 6'6".
Yeah,
Um, which I'm just looking at his
218. Ah, but he's listed as a forward, so he must. And his stats kind of say he's really
okay,
physical.
6. He was just at 6'8" in JUCO, so who knows how tall he is? Probably 6'6". But I mean, he can
Yeah,
really rebound.
the JUCO
Should be
rulers.
yeah, but he was a JUCO All-American. I mean, should be a very impactful player there. And if he's not the big man, I don't really know who is because I don't really have any like pure fives on the roster
Andre
anyway.
Polk. Andre Polk can rebound. He's
Yeah,
6'9", 200.
coming from the same JUCO as
He can't do
Baru.
much else, but he can rebound. So I'll
Hmm.
think him. He'll be the backup for sure.
Blake Lapman could be in the
He's
starting
all
lineup
right.
as well. I think he actually will be in the starting lineup,
Yeah,
honestly.
I agree.
DQ Cole from Henry Ford Community College
He's solid.
put up some good numbers there at the very least. I think it was a
Isaiah
JUCO.
Jones is an intriguing
Yes,
transfer.
he is intriguing. I was gonna say coming from Detroit, Detroit isn't like that good, obviously, but I think he's a guy that
They
could.
always have talent, and Oakland's coach is good. Like I do trust him to
Hmm.
develop talent.
He's been there a while.
They just, I don't know. They just don't. They aren't able to get over the hump. It's just weird. I don't know. But the Horizon's been a good conference, so like that's not something to entirely be ashamed of. But yeah, some years it's defense, some years it's all. I don't know. It's different. With they're a tough team to really put your finger on why they don't make the tournament more under him because he's a good coach. I like how he develops players. Like so
Yeah, yeah. I think overall this is a
solid team.
solid team. Yeah. Did you see a loss the other day to a D2 though in a scrimmage?
Yeah,
It
that's
was
the thing. That's the thing with Oakland, right? Like they can beat. I mean, they can compete with a lot of solid teams, but they lose to anyone. They're notorious for having bad losses. Um,
yeah. They lost to Walsh, who was I think they're a pretty solid Division 2 program.
it's still not good.
No, it's not. But they do have Kobe Mitchell who played at Akron at like 32 points. He was the only guy for Walsh in double digits, but um, yeah.
It's a good look.
So, I mean, yeah, it also isn't actually going to matter going forward, but it
Yeah, of
could
course.
not be great still though. But next team, Milwaukee, I have them at fourth.
And then first.
I
Yep.
can see that. Top four is pretty
Um,
close for me. I love BJ Freeman. Jameson breakout player. Fields is
I just think there's
really
not enough hype
underrated.
around this team, and I think it's because a lot of people don't know a lot about this team. You know, like you said, and you texted me last night, you got to look up these D2s and JUCO, and I did. I did. Like, and they have a lot returning too. Um, they have guys like Marquise Browning, who I think can really take another step up.
He's solid.
Um,
I like Jameson a little bit more than him,
yeah,
honestly,
Elijah
but
Jameson is also good. They got BJ Freeman.
he's amazing.
Kentrell Pullian's another guy that really
Yes.
intrigues me. I'm just going through their D2 because there's a lot. Getting to them here. I think Angelo Stewart's from one of them.
He
No,
was there last year, but
he was there last
he was
year.
somewhere like that before.
Eric Pratt is the guy from A&M.
Yeah.
He didn't play a lot, but he was ranked very highly in JUCO. If you come
Mm-hmm.
with Buzz Williams, you can defend. So,
Yeah. I
and
agree.
then Learic Davis is someone I really like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was really excited looking at him.
He is
He
athletic
redshirted last year,
at Tennessee State. Yeah.
right at Tennessee State.
He is athletic. That's why I think he's
He was
I
an
would freshman of the
All-American
year.
nominee, apparently, which
Yeah,
is,
I mean, a lot of people are. It's not like
but that's
super
true.
exclusive list, but like he deserved to be on that list. He's
And you know who they
extremely
do have?
athletic.
You know who they do have?
Langston
Einstein Willis.
Wilson. He is at very least he's athletic. I know he's had some like health problems as have kept him out from
Yeah,
playing like huge minutes, which
telling
is
you,
like
I
he
feel
said
for him.
JUCO
He's been through a lot in his career.
like I followed him pretty closely in JUCO. Like he has some like I think he has to like limit the minutes he plays like in a row, dude, because he never played in high school. Like
Right. I mean,
he's like from your
he's
area
from
and
Bonner, but like he never really
but like
played.
he didn't like he couldn't like wasn't medically clear to play in high school.
No,
I think
he just rode the
he
bench on those Isaiah Long
yeah,
teams and Jerry
but like
Johnson
at the
teams.
very least, like he is an athlete. Like he did. Remember when he was like the offers he had coming out of JUCO? Like he had like Kansas, all
Crazy.
those schools. I mean, he originally committed to Alabama
Because
at
he
one
had those
point.
like, and I know why those schools were interesting. I mean, he has like
He's an
unreal
athlete.
athleticism.
The skill is
The skill's not, he's not very
iffy, but like
coordinated. Like he can't catch the ball, rebound, things like that.
mm,
But no, he does jump out the gym for sure. And it's these other guys like Simeon Murchison, really good
who?
freshman, 6'9", 221, averaged 19 and 10. He was
Okay.
brings you good size.
I don't have him in my roster, but
McQuai Reek,
yeah.
he's a really intriguing guy as well. Ever 23, 8 and 5. Yeah. They bring in a good freshman class too. The freshman class I really liked. Maurice Thomas is another guy. He didn't really move me, but
Probably a walk on.
he's DePaul College prep. Yeah, he's probably one of
And
their
I think he's a
walk-ons.
walk on.
Size
The
on
guy
field,
they
I
Tyson
love.
Fields, but the guy they got from Hutchinson,
Yes, Aaron Franklin
Aaron
again.
Franklin could be good. Average, put some big numbers there. I don't know
Um,
how good he actually going to be, but like
I don't know how good Hutchinson is, but 22 and 8 is pretty nice. That's 6'5". Let's see, Dominic Ham. Nah, you just had the bench. That's right. Yeah, and they just have a lot. They're really deep. They're going to be really physical. They're going to really defend. And I love their coach. Their coach had an amazing season last year. They almost won the conference. They almost made the tournament. I think they lost in the title game or something like that. They were in the final four.
they were pretty good. But yeah,
Um,
Hutchinson was solid.
yeah, Bart Lundy did great. He
I
set the
love
bar
Bartland.
really high. He's a really underrated mid-major coach, and I think they can honestly win it this year. They have the talent for sure.
I think they could. I think they could. I'm definitely not
Um,
like saying they can't win it.
Now of course, yeah, no, the depth and the talent is there. The defense, the shot creation. So, for me, it was, and I think they need more hype. I'm gonna hype them up on my page later. Of course, they
Yes, that
definitely need more
is
publicity.
well deserved. They're very good. Next team, Cleveland State. I had them at 5th.
I have them at 7. Yeah.
Okay, that seems a little low personally
Yeah, okay. And it
because
probably
I mean,
was.
Enaruna, they have him back, who was their
He's awesome.
best
He's
player.
very good.
They lost a few guys, but they had like Tay Williams back.
He's
Drew
good.
Lauder is pretty solid. Tevin Smith, I mean, he can plug in a starting lineup.
Danny Young is a freshman I really like. I almost put
Okay,
him on the all freshman team. I
okay.
think he's going to be pretty good. Um, yeah, but then at the end of the roster, I don't see a ton of depth.
I mean, they have a guy from D2 like 4 years ago, Chase Robinson.
Case Robinson, who I'm looking at right now.
He's
Yeah, he
okay.
looks
Maybe
pretty
maybe
good.
Doak Modar can
KJ
give
Debricks
some.
from John A. Logan.
Yeah, I think he's going to be their starting 5. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, maybe it's a little worse than last year, but Aruna's very good.
I'm probably a little low on them, and I did gloss through this roster,
Yeah.
admittedly. Yeah. TJ Moss is an intriguing guy. I don't know. Their website's weird. They don't really put like their stats on there. So, um, but yeah, no, they do have some good players and they're pretty well coached. I don't hate their coach at all. So,
First year coming over from Iowa State as an assistant.
no, it's a
After
really good
taking over
staff. They'll be good defensively.
after taking over from Dennis Gates, a very solid year 1. Yeah, I didn't realize they got TJ Moss. That's a pretty good pickup coming over from Detroit Mercy. It's
Yep.
all solid at least.
He was a talented guy out of high school. It was saying so.
Yeah,
He's
I
probably
mean,
going
I
to play
think
a
he went to
lot.
like, did he go to like South Carolina or something like that?
You know what? Why do I
He's
remember him
been
there?
everywhere. Oh, he's been everywhere. He's been played South Carolina, McNeese,
Oh,
um,
World
in
Tour.
Detroit. Does he even have eligibility? Yeah, he probably does. He probably redshirted one of those years that he was. Oh, but yeah, he was. I don't know. He's never been that good, but he's also never been that bad.
Right.
Um,
So that's a contributor. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Next team, Northern Kentucky. I have them at 2nd.
I them a third. Yeah.
I would have had them first if Holden's eligibility things didn't get sorted out. But now that is sorted out, I have them just below. They're a team that's always going to be really good in March. I mean,
Yeah,
they
exactly.
just
They're probably
always
going to win the
always seem to get it
conference.
done.
Probably.
Warwick is
I
really
hate it.
good.
I hate it. I hate them.
Warwick, they were good though. Like they put up a solid fight with Houston.
Yeah, because honestly, like they're a clone of what Houston is. Like they're the defensive grind, rebound, play slow. Like that was what they are. And you know what? They compete with teams because of it. I mean, they annihilated Cincinnati last year. I remember that game. That was something.
Did they?
Yeah, Cincinnati had to play on the road at Northern
Yeah, I mean
Kentucky.
that's basically.
Um,
I did
it was
happen
a
to.
trap game. It was definitely a
Yeah,
trap game.
since
But
Northern Kentucky basically isn't Cincinnati, but so it's not like super road game, but still it
that's
was
true.
hosted at Northern Kentucky.
Yeah. This year I just even in the regular season last year, they just don't always play that great. I don't know. Like
Yeah,
their non-con was not great besides that game. So yeah, they always turn up in the tournament, and I just think offensively it's going to be a little weird. Um, I like Vincent, I like Warwick, but he's a little inefficient. And then down low, yeah, no, I like the front court
I
actually.
like Meyer. I like Meyer. Looking back at like Meyer's the one guy from Green Bay that was actually
Right.
like worse
That's
on them
what I
last
that's
year.
what I got
He
from
was
my
actually
stats.
efficient.
Right.
Kian DeTidre from Marquette is an interesting guy. He is also a guy that is crazy athletic.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
see
what
if
they
he's
love.
we'll see if he can
They're gonna go
actually
crazy
play
with
it
him,
all.
I
But
bet.
like then they have a bunch of freshmen. Pavorias too.
Their freshmen are good.
Yeah,
Michael Bradley from Mercyhurst.
Michael Bradley. He's a
That's
really solid point guard.
that's a league again. I went my freshman year at Westchester, and they're in the PSAC. The PSAC is a good D2 league, one of the best.
hmm
And he had good numbers there. He's going to be a good backup point
Yeah,
guard for
I think
sure.
he's gonna start, right?
You think?
I mean, who else would
Um,
start?
yeah, okay. Yeah, Warwick. Vincent's a 3. Um, Yeah, okay. There's your two guard or point guard. Honestly, I'd run
Because
Warrick
last
too.
year, point guard was Xavier Rhodes, who is
That's
gone
right.
now.
Where is he?
He adjusts his eligibility. He actually
Oh,
started at Northwest Missouri, but yeah,
oh.
he's out of eligibility now.
Randall Pettis and Israel are two intriguing freshmen. They're both guys I consider
Okay,
from all freshman
yeah,
team.
yeah. I don't really know a ton about these freshmen, but
LJ
obviously,
Wells seems intriguing.
yeah.
Um,
Shalombo is a guy I think could be like solid. Like he's a big impact like rebounder. Robinson should be in the starting lineup as well, returning
yeah.
solid piece there. And yeah, I think Warwick and Vincent I think
Fiston E
there's
Fiston Episo from Adelaide seems really interesting. Their freshman class is
okay,
intriguing. If and I did look at them because for my
yeah,
freshman team, I'm like, oh, I got to look at Northern Kentucky, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah, look at
um,
them a little bit.
6'5" shooting guard, averaged like 10 and 5. Played in the NBL, one of the NBL leagues.
Okay,
Semi, I don't think like the actual NBL, but
probably like
uh,
the NBL one, which is like
NBL one. That's what it was saying. Yeah.
yeah, I know a lot of players like I know a lot of guys are coming from there. A lot of like
Mhm.
freshman stuff. I think it's like the NBL B
B
League,
League.
but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Next team is Youngstown State. They won the conference last year, and I have them at third this year.
I wanted to put them higher because I am rooting for them, man. I have all my friends, like my friend's girlfriend goes there. Yeah, they're from near there. But I do have them fourth. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Gosh, I was split hairs 1 through 4, man. I really did. But
Mm-hmm.
I had to make some tough decisions.
This is a
I
good
do
team though.
like Youngstown. Honestly, the reason I might not have them or 1 through 3 is because I think their coach is the worst of the four.
That's
And the reason I say that is because
Calhoun
they're
is
just
good too.
so bad defensively.
You're so good offensively.
But like, you can't be that bad on defense. You
They
can't.
were that good in offense though.
I mean, that's why they got bounced early. And it is like I remember I watched that game. I was losing my mind. I was losing my mind because I hate Northern Kentucky too. But yeah, no, they need to make improvements on defense. And I think roster wise they did. I just need to see it. And they play fast. Jalen Bates is actually a guy I think will help rebounding and defense. 6'7", 215 for Florida A&M.
They
Not a
honestly
great
didn't play
conference.
super fast. Like they were so efficient.
Yeah, a lot of good shot creators. Yeah,
Cohill is so good.
he was amazing. And yeah, no, with him gone, it's going to be a little different offensively. But I think they still have the pieces to be a very good offensive team. You got Brandon Rush, you got Ziggy Reed, um,
Brett
EJ
Thompson can
Farmer.
shoot it.
EJ Farmer's going to take a big step up this year. I think he
Yeah.
could be a double-digit scorer, honestly. With what Toledo likes to do. Brett Thompson's a good 3-point shooter. Bryson Langdon should be a good backup point guard. He's from Northern
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky.
Played here 2 years ago.
Mhm. John Lovelace Jr. is a guy I think is really intriguing. I hope the minutes are there for him. He can be a guy who can really help defensively. 6'7", 205. He's a guard, listed as a guard. So I'm hoping he can have that 1 through 4 defensive versatility, which I love from players.
Yeah.
And they have DJ Burns, and this guy Gabe Dines is intriguing. He's 7'3", 190. Obviously, I don't think he's going to play a
Ooh.
lot this year. Um,
7'3", 190. Who's
and he's
that?
decently like he shot 72% in Kentucky. I don't know, he's
Is
named
this guy
first
a
team
walk
all
on?
conference. I mean, he might be a walk on just due to I think Tommy Fear does your walk on here. 6'1", 180.
I have a few
He's
walk
definitely a
ons.
walk on. Dante DePonte might be. He's okay though. Um,
I have him my scholarship chart, so he's probably
okay.
6'7", 3",
Yeah,
190.
I mean, I
I
think
have him my school. He might be on scholarship, but
what happens with the 7'3", 190 guys, right, is you just stash them and they're project guys. They'll
get him in the
develop.
weight room. Get him in the weight room is what you have to
Exactly.
do.
3 to 4 years, 2 to 3 years down the line, maybe they're a rotational piece. So I
Mm.
think it's a good thing they took him. Yeah. So I just
Emmanuel Zorgville is a guy that I think could be decent.
yeah,
Coming over from Northern Kentucky.
He's from Brim Protector U. So I think he could actually help them a lot defensively. So that's kind of the pieces that I was excited for defensively. I just have to see it. Calhoun kills it in the portal. He's amazing offensively, but that next step for him as an in-game coach is to be at least average on defense. We just don't need to be giving up 80, 90 a game to Horizon opponents. I mean, that would be a really but I think they will be better defensively. And I also will say I like the other teams in front of them offensively a little more. I think they have a little more shot creation,
Okay.
a little more scoring down low. Yeah, it's close. I split hairs
I,
one through
I
four.
just I just really like what they did with the transfers they had last year.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like they had talent. They were the most talented team in the conference for sure. It just didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Northern Kentucky. They have a tough play style,
Yeah, but
man.
like Adrian Nelson was like okay in Northern Kentucky. He was really good at Youngstown State. Like Malik Green was like I'm trying to figure. I think he played like Canisius or something like that. But he was also really good at Youngstown State after
He
like
was. They
um
elevated a lot of guys' careers.
yeah, like he
I
definitely
will
got
say that he
better
gets
there.
guys improve under this guy
Brandon
offensively.
Rush really got better. Obviously, Cohill was amazing.
Um,
Um, yeah,
I can't say enough about Calhoun offensively. I mean, they run an awesome
yeah,
system.
he's fantastic. Yeah. So, and any more thoughts about the Horizon?
Uh, no, I think that's. Did we miss a team? No, we got everyone.
I think we got everyone. I don't think we
Oh,
missed
fun
anyone.
conference.
Yeah, it is a fun conference.
It
I
always seems like
will.
every year, 1 through 4 is always a cluster. Like, like you're flipping a coin to see who wins the conference 1 through 4. And it usually lands on Northern Kentucky, but 1 through 4 is always very even
I
in the
mean,
regular
that's how it
season.
was last year. Like Youngstown State 15-5, Northern Kentucky 14-6, Cleveland State 14-6,
Right. They
Milwaukee
just beat up on each
14-6.
other. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And then after 1 through 4, it always does take a little bit of a step down.
Yeah.
So it's been like that for like a couple years, I feel like. And
The
I think it
bottom is
will be
better
this
though.
year. The
The
bottom
bottom
is
is a
improved
little
though,
bit better,
which I do like. So
especially like the very bottom. Like
I
the
think
very
Kent
bottom is
Palm
what got better.
I think Kent Palm is very low in this conference. 24th, I think, is really
Well,
outrageous.
let's see where they have some of the teams. They have I mean yeah, they have like Green Bay at 351, which are probably not actually going to be that bad.
No,
They have Robert Morrison at 300. I don't know if they're well,
it's
we'll
probably
see.
around right for me. They're really bad for me.
Um, I think I don't know. We'll see, but
Where's Detroit?
uh 289
Okay, I
because
think
their defense is bad and their offense was just really good last year because of Davis.
they'll be worse than that.
Probably.
IUPUI
Their
will be
offense
better
was so
though.
good last year, but that was only because of Davis. He was just so good.
IUPUI will be better than whatever Ken Palm has them though.
He has him at 320. Like I think that's pretty respect.
Okay,
I think they're gonna be better than that. But like
I actually do. Yeah,
I think that's not like super disrespectful. Um
let's check Milwaukee out.
yeah, they're like 230th, which I think they're gonna be a little bit
That's
better than that.
crazy.
I mean, that was
What?
about where they were last year. So
That
not like
is.
super different, but like
I think they're
they're
top
gonna play
200.
fast, so it's fun.
I think they're top 200.
Yeah, probably. I'd probably have them top 200. It's easy to
Wright
say that
State.
though when you don't know what the top 200 teams are.
That's right. Yeah,
Like oh, they're
exactly.
top 200, and you kind of
Right.
get like to all the teams, and like
Then
oh,
you
maybe they're
see a
not.
list of the teams. You're like, oh shoot, maybe they're not better than them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Wright
Um,
State? They're
they're the
definitely.
highest in the conference. They're like
Yeah.
132nd, I want to say. Yeah,
I mean, they definitely have top 130 talent. I'm not
yeah,
going to deny that, but we'll see.
yeah. We will see. So we will be back next with the Southland preview. But yeah, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't. Um, if you're listening to this on a podcast platforms, a 5-star review would be definitely be appreciated. Follow our social medias, Instagram, Twitter at Hoopscoop Media. And yeah, and any more notes before we send this one off to the listeners?
I think that's it. The people are gonna love this episode.
Yes, fun conference, fun discussion. So yeah, next up is the Southland.